What's going on, Freight Skills? And welcome to another video. In this video, this is going to be a little bit different. I want to tell you about how my brokerage lost $50,000 in one day last week. It was actually about $53,000, but either way, that's a huge hit for a brokerage. And now you might be saying, Lewis, why do you want to share this information? Why don't you want to show the glory of brokering, all the money that you can make in brokering? And the reason is that that is not the reality all of the time. Sure, I'd love to sit here every single day and tell you how much money you can make as a broker and how great it is to be a broker and that it's a completely stress-free lifestyle, but that's just not the reality of the situation. As you take on more responsibilities as a broker, as you grow as a person, you're going to expose yourself to more and more risk. And it is very real to see these kind of days as a freight broker. This has been a worse one than I've seen in a while, but nonetheless, we learned a lot from it, and I want to sort of show you my method of thinking and show you how I turned both of these lessons into positives rather than negatives. And even though I might have lost money in the short term, over the long term, the lessons that we learned and the relationships that were saved because we absorbed these losses are going to pay dividends, right? So this is an insight into the ugly part of being a freight broker, a part that not really many people want to show you at all. And I'm probably not visibly frustrated because I took 2-3 weeks to digest the negative effects of this, being that I pretty much lost a whole person's salary worth of money in one single day. But now that it's gone and we were able to reassess and regroup, we've had an amazing last few weeks, and I wanted to talk to you again and show you the reality of losing money as a freight broker, which happens sometimes. Now, before I get into this video, as always, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so that you can hear more horror stories and, more importantly, helpful tips and tricks that will help you grow your freight brokerage at any point in your career, right? If you're a beginner or you've been going for a while, odds are you're going to be able to find something on this channel that's going to help you go to the next level. I'm pretty much just going to tell you what happened with these incidences that caused us to lose over $50,000 in one single day. Now, the first instance, you have to understand that when you are doing loads and you are working with bigger customers, the odds of something that goes wrong is a lot higher. Just by statistics, not every shipment is going to go right. If you're doing 100 shipments for one customer and 5 shipments for another customer, the odds of something going wrong with one customer is 1 in 5. The other customer, one of those 100, there's a lot more opportunity for something to go wrong, right? You just did 100 shipments, where on this hand, you only did 5 shipments. Now, we were in that situation. We had a really good customer. This has been a customer of mine for 15 years, a customer of the agent. And the agent had done a delivery back in March. Now, the carrier on this delivery, there was a little bit of an issue with the delivering to the site. The carrier showed up at the location. It was for a state government. And the carrier asked, I'm delivering this product. Is this where I take it? The site said, yes, go ahead in. They unloaded the product. They used the product and mixed it with their tank. They tested it. And then they came back out right when the carrier was about to leave and said, hey, this isn't where this goes. This has to go to this other place. The carrier had signed paperwork. The carrier had everything verified by the receiver and said, I'm sorry, it's not my problem anymore. And he left. What resulted from that action was $55,000 in cleanup costs for our customer. And the reason my customer was hit with that was because they were in the middle of a transaction and their customer had no idea what to do, so they blamed them. Right? So there was this trickle-down effect, and somehow 5-6 months down the line, we were told, look, there was a major issue with that shipment. It caused a huge problem at the state government. We had to clean it up. We had to act fast. There was nothing we could do about it. We spent $55,000. Here's the bill. You have to help us out with it. Obviously, from our standpoint, we didn't really do anything wrong because we told the carrier, pick up here, deliver here. We told them, here's all the paperwork you need to get signed. And we produced all of that paperwork for our customer. So did we do anything wrong? No. But here's where it gets complicated. Because if we don't make our customer whole and we don't oblige with their request, there's a very good chance that they will find somebody else who will. So out of professional courtesy, professional respect, and in the interest of getting future business from this customer, we gladly complied and we said, you know what, this is a really bad situation for everybody. We're not gonna get a lot of help from our carrier, and I don't think it's fair to ask them for help because they didn't really do anything wrong. They got everything signed, they asked for verification, they did all of the proper steps to make sure they were delivering to the right place. On the other hand, maybe this wasn't handled properly, but we'll take responsibility for that in not addressing the proper way to handle claims with you, and we will carry that forward into the future. So don't worry about it right now. We're gonna outline a whole claims process and make sure that we follow it the next time so that we're not put in this situation again. In doing that, and in our reaction and the way we professionally handled the situation, not only was our customer very happy, but we've almost increased the amount of business that we're getting from that customer from 30 to 40%. Honestly, it's been that much since this situation has been resolved. And the first check from that incident is being cut probably next week. And we agreed on mutual terms on paying that off slowly. The outcome in the end may not be favorable for us or for our customer or the carrier really, but we didn't feel right taking that from the carrier because at the end of the day, they did their job, they did what they were supposed to do, and this just happened to be a really complicated claim incident. So we said yes, and we're paying between $25,000 and $27,000 in a claim out of our own pocket. Insurance will not cover it, to our customer to make them happy. We gladly did it. It's for the best interest in the long run. And now the second incident was another one that was very similar. So our company does really large heavy haul projects. This particular project was 66 flatbed loads that was going from the southeast to the Midwest. And I can't share specifics on what the job was, there's confidentiality agreements, but what I can tell you is that one of, or more, of these pieces that we were moving was severely underreported when they were given to us. So for example, we were told that a piece weighed 80,000 pounds, it was weighed and it weighed 100,000 pounds. That means that you need a whole different route and permits, and a whole bunch of other stuff goes into moving a load of those dimensions. Now, in the middle of all these loads, when this particular incident went wrong, the driver had to sort of get off to the side and it was almost forgotten about. We have cranes lifting these huge pieces up, and what happened was all of the loads left, they got delivered, but the driver of the largest load did not update us that there was a problem with the permits. The permits were delayed between 4 and 5 days, and our customer ended up having to hire a crew to unload this really large piece. Crane crews are not cheap. They cost about $8,000 a day just to get them to turn the crane on and bring it out to your location. That, plus the labor, plus the fact that this piece was very integral to a job that was being done. What ended up happening was, after all was said and done, this piece getting delivered late cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in productivity, and it cost us, the freight broker, over $20,000 to be fixed, right? Because we needed a whole new truck. We needed to get new permits, new route survey. The driver needed to be compensated more. The strapping was more money because it was more complicated. The whole truck needed more axles, the flatbed. So it was not easy to fix this, and it cost us about $20,000 to do it. That and even more things happened in the middle, but I'm not even gonna get into that. What ended up happening was, after the whole job, we called the customer and we said, let's review the rest of the job, just make sure everything is all set to get the payment in. And the customer refused the charges for the extra weight and everything. And even though most of the delays were caused because of the Department of Transportation not being able to process the permits, we still probably could have done a better job of communicating where everything was. And now some of that was the driver's fault, a lot of that was the driver's fault because they did not call us for 4 to 5 days. But still, as a freight broker, that's the risk that you take. You're taking accountability for somebody else's actions, and that's what we had to do. So what we ended up doing was we ate those charges. We still wound up profitable on the whole job, but it took a really big hit from our bottom line on that job. Now, what did we learn from that job that is going to be carried over to future heavy haul projects? Well, now we know that we need to put a clause in our contracts that says if something goes wrong in the middle of the job, we need to sit down, have a conversation, and make sure that everybody agrees on the additional charges. In addition, we are no longer doing these jobs without tracking. Each piece is going to be tracked with a GPS tracker. We're going to source those probably from China or something like that, and we're going to know exactly where each piece of this heavy haul project is going to be at all times, so that if we see something that's not moving, we can make a phone call and figure out what went wrong. Both of those things combined happened in a single day. That's usually how it goes in brokering. When there's a problem, when it rains, it pours, and that is exactly what happened to us that day. I probably didn't sleep for about 4 or 5 days in the last 2 weeks, and then while we were waiting for the rest of the payment for this project, I haven't slept for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. Last night was the first time that I slept in a while. So anyway, the important thing that you need to take from this video is that brokering is not always sunshine and loads and profits and all of this great stuff that people make it out to be. Brokering can get very complicated, and it's really necessary to take these risks in order to bring yourself to the next level. All right, so don't be surprised as you get bigger and bigger, the more problems you get. And something that I was taught online, I forgot who taught me this, they said new levels bring new devils. And that means that the bigger that you get, the more you grow, the bigger your problems are going to become. And you as a broker want those problems. I welcome those problems now, and it took me a long time to understand that. But the more problems that you have means the more growth that you're experiencing. So you have to welcome those opportunities to fix things, to learn from them, and to use those negatives to turn them into positives. Because when you do that, the transformation that you make is actually profound, and it's so much more valuable than just coasting through life and coasting through brokering like nothing's wrong and you don't have a care in the world. Now, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a little bit of a different style that I'm experimenting with, giving you some more insight into my daily life as a freight broker. So I wanted to share something that went wrong and show you the ugly side of brokering. Now, hopefully you learned something from this video, and if you did, I encourage you to comment down below. I really appreciate every single comment I get. I personally respond to every single comment I get, and it means a lot to me to see you interacting with my content. Now, before I go, I do want to personally invite you to join my free group. It's called the Freight Broker Network. It is a group where I hang out with all my broker friends. There's carriers, dispatchers, we talk brokering, all of that great stuff. The link is right down below in the description. Just click that, enter your info, I'll approve your invitation, introduce yourself, and let me know the #1 thing I can help you with to grow your freight brokerage. Now, until the next video, I'll see you soon.